Welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, with a special edition today. Joining us from Pathways for the Homeless in Yankton, South Dakota, is Courtney Wagner. Courtney, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bubba. Thanks for having us.
It's an absolute pleasure of mine. Well, you got a big benefit concert coming up here, June 28th. Before we get into that, I want to get just a little bit of a background on Pathways, and then we can jump into all the fun, exciting things that are going to be happening Sunday, June 28th.
Yeah. Pathways began in 1994, so we've been operating for 32 years here in Yankton. We serve the Yankton community, but we also serve those 60 miles within the radius of us. So it could be as far as Vermilion, it could be as close as Sioux Falls, but it has to be within that 60-mile radius, and then have some type of tie to Yankton on top of that. We do offer different services. So we have our main service, which is our emergency shelter for our families and individuals. And then we have our young adult housing program, which we serve 18 to 24-year-olds, along with our reentry program, rapid rehousing, and then financial assistance program.
Incredible stuff. And obviously it functions as a nonprofit, and not always is it enough in government funding that are able to fund these that are non-government agencies, correct?
Correct. So our emergency shelter area is primarily funded through private donations. So this would be basically funded through the community. So that would be like food, clothing, monetary donations. Versus like our reentry program, it's funded through the South Dakota Department of Corrections. And then we have our YHDP program, which is funded through a YHDP grant. So it definitely varies. But if you want to take away, we are primarily 75% funded through private donations.
Incredible, and such a need that you are facing. I think a lot of people don't understand, and as someone who has experienced homelessness at different parts in my life, I understand what a benefit these are to the community. Not everyone who becomes homeless, I don't think anyone who becomes homeless wants to be. I think a lot of the population that do become homeless, and around larger cities, you have especially in California or something like that, drug addiction, mental health are some of the reasons that, but it can literally be anything. It can be, getting out of a bad situation and just needing somewhere to be able to go. And I know that you serve a wide variety, the reentry program, also someone who didn't need those, but knew several people who would need something like that, re-entering after incarceration. So I realize from a much deeper level than I think a regular everyday citizen would, the need that you are serving inside of the community of the less fortunate, and those have fallen on tough times.
Absolutely. So just like what you said too, like people become homeless for various reasons. Yes, there's that substance use aspect or mental health aspect, but it could also go along the lines of, hey, I got sick and with cancer, and because I got sick with cancer, I had to step away from my job. Well, because I had to step away from my job, I lost my housing. So it's just kind of one of those factors where it's like a ripple effect sometimes. And it's just needing that extra oomph and be like, okay, well, now I need guidance. So we offer those high level case management services. So when somebody comes into shelter, they are gifted a case manager that is able to help them with the resources and tools that they need to be successful and get on the right track to be independent again.
Yeah, and exactly, what you just alluded to is that anyone who becomes homeless, you don't know the resources that are available to you until you're in and without a pathways, really people are out there on their own, and the problems exacerbate, and it's a downward spiral where
Yeah.
pathways and programs like this, and especially here in our local community, provide a safety net for people who have befallen tough times, and now providing them with the resources to get them back onto their feet and get them back into independent housing.
Correct. And it sometimes, like, we get a lot of questions on how long someone is housed here, and it really does vary case to case. So we can have somebody that might have a job coming in, but they lost housing for some reason, and maybe they're only here for 2 weeks. And the longest we've had somebody stay in our emergency shelter is 90 days. Now, versus our young adult housing program, those folks, we serve 18 to 24-year-olds, so they can be in that program for 2 years. They learn the life skills through our life skills coordinator that we have on board. And that could be simple basics of doing laundry, learning how to cook a meal, stuff that wasn't shown to them previously growing up. So it's great to like kind of have that intervention before, they become older and the cycle just kind of continues on. It's just nice to have those resources available.
Yeah, and as someone who experienced a lot of turmoil in my early years, and that led to further and further problems, trouble with the law, and substance abuse issues, I'm going to have you back, Courtney. We don't have a ton of time today, but I want to really dig in to that program with you sometime in the future, and maybe it will be an opportunity for me to take the quick half-hour trip from Tyndall over to Yankton to see this facility and maybe talk with some of these young people that are going through this program, because I think it is incredible what you're doing to have that, because it took me until I was 30 and coming through and having to learn some skills, through the prison system, even to build up into that and to learn a trade so that I could be the man and the father that I am today. So how nice to know that there's a program out there that is trying to work with these young adults that, in a lot of times, no fault of their own, that they're in this situation, to help give them a leg up and to provide them with that safe place to go and the skills they need to be successful adults. So we're going to have you back on. I can already guarantee you that, whether it's me coming out there and seeing the facility, but I really want to dig into specifically that program. But this is exactly the reason that you're doing the benefit concert, to raise money. You exist on 75%. Private donations, and it's not always, people are never going to really find you unless they've become aware of you through someone maybe they know doing it. So I think a great move that you've made here to throw a big benefit concert to raise awareness around the foundation, but now to also raise some money for that too. So Sunday, June 28th at Ben's Brewing Station, right there in Yankton, you're hosting the Pathways Benefit Concert featuring Justine Crawford. Tell us a little bit more about the event and what people can expect in attending.
Yeah, so with Justine Crawford, she sings all genres of music. You request something, she'll sing it. She came to Yankton a couple months ago and has been widely known since she's come here. So she's been great. She actually works for Pathways here as an advocate. And then we are planning on having a 50-50 raffle, but in fun form. So we'll be doing a chuck-a-duck. So the goal is they'll come in, buy a duck, and then whoever throws the duck in the middle of a pool, the closest to the dot, will be able to win it, or be able to get a chance to win half of the pot of the money when we do the 50-50 raffle. We'll also have t-shirts for sale, and then we also have free will donation jars during the event. Now, you are able to go ahead and still buy from Wicked Eats from Ben's Brew Station, and any drinks included over at Ben's.
Incredible. And I'm sure both of the organizations are probably donating a portion of proceeds
Mhm,
during that time, and lots of other cash donations will obviously be accepted at the event as
mhm.
well, and a chance for the community to come get to know you and everyone that's there at Pathways, and get to know the work that you are doing, and really being a vital part of this community, because there aren't many resources like this in many communities. And it's why a small community like Yankton can continue to serve the community at large, really, by keeping these young people from the drug abuse and the trouble with alcohol, and then causing more trouble because of those things. So I
Mhm.
think it's amazing what you're doing, Courtney. I'm so appreciative of you spending some time with me today. I know we had a little bit of miscommunication getting it done, but we got it done nonetheless, Courtney. Anything more to add? I know that everyone can go to
Yes.
yanktonpathways.org and find out more information there as
Mhm.
well. But anything else that you want to plug before I let you
Mm,
go?
yes, so we do host tours on Fridays. So those will be at 12 and 3. And then during our Pathways benefit concert, we will also have staff available during that event for any questions. And maybe hopefully we can help clear up any confusion anybody may have, or they just want to learn a little bit more about Pathways.
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait to learn more about Pathways myself. Courtney, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. Thank you for all the work that you're doing for the community of Yankton. And thank you for being part of the scene.
No, thank you.